Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Glad to be with you here today, talking about you and your business. Going to spend time with the folks from Netrepid, netrepid.com, netrepid.com. They are contributors on the Price of Business. And today we've got Jonathan Bentz representing them there today. Jonathan, welcome to the program. How are you today?
Hey, Kevin. I'm doing real well. Thanks for having us on again.
Always. We love having you on. Tell us a little bit about Netrepid.
Netrepid is a provider of technology infrastructure hosting services that help growing companies accelerate their technology from the ground to the cloud.
Very good. And your guys are really not only cheerleaders, but supporters of the development of businesses as well. I love the work you're doing to help companies get launched. And I think you guys, I think the laws of reciprocity are on the side of a company like Netrepid.
Well, certainly that's part of what we're hoping for. We really appreciate it. And we have our guest today is also really big in helping businesses grow on an international scale.
Great. Introduce him.
Gentleman's name is Justin Seibert. He is the CEO of Direct Online Marketing, and he is actually one of the most knowledgeable people of the Google search advertising platform that there is basically on the globe. So I'm pretty stoked to have him join us today.
Welcome to the program. Let's see. What's your website, by the way?
Thank you very much for having me on, Kevin and Jonathan. It's directom.com, so the word direct, O is in online, M is in marketing, directom.com.
Jonathan, your question?
Yeah, so I came across an article this week that Justin wrote on a website called ppchero.com, and I wanted to talk to him a little bit about it. It inspired me here to bring him on today. Because it was all about exporting through online advertising, which is something that's really near and dear to me as well. So, first question that I have for Justin would be, actually, Justin, where, in your opinion, where's the best place that a business owner can go to learn about the exporting process?
Thanks, Jonathan. I think the number one resource is the U.S. Commercial Office. They have reps for everybody in the United States that'll be assigned to your particular area, and they have a real wealth of information. It's free to talk to them, to find out information. They can evaluate your business. They'll look at your products and give you an idea of even if it's the right path for you to go down to. Then they have all sorts of really great products, from loan guarantee programs to helping make sure that you actually get paid, to extending credit lines to customers, and then a product that everybody should be aware of called the Gold Key service, where they'll actually be kind of your boots on the ground with reps that are working in those countries to dig up leads and prospects for you. And it's a great, really affordable service for companies.
With that, well, kind of give us a size range of the type of companies that use your services.
It's a great question. We have, I would say that typically it's going to be a medium-sized business. We have some smaller ones. We have some larger ones. It's going to be a little bit on the larger side, especially if they're into exporting, although we've been really lucky to work with some companies that started off just trying to move products off of their shelves that were collecting dust and just trying to see if they could move it, literally looking at just a couple $100s a month in Google ad spend, to the point where they're now selling millions of dollars outside of the country, and they never even thought that was possible. So we can work with a smaller company and build them up, but typically it is a medium-sized business.
Medium-sized, mid-market. Do you get to enterprise level, or is your goal to make mid-market companies enterprise level?
We look at everybody, and the first thing we do is we sit down and ask what their goals are, so we have a better understanding of that, and then we can make an evaluation of whether we think we can help them or not, or if we can point them in another direction. So we've worked on both sides of that, but certainly nothing gives us greater pride than we take that company, and then the next year we see that they're on the Inc. 500 list, or they've made the Magic Quadrant. So certainly when we see that explosive growth, that makes everybody here really proud for what we've been able to help them with.
Very good. Go ahead, Jonathan.
So Justin, as I mentioned earlier, Justin kind of has a particular expertise in the search advertising platforms. But even though here in the States we use Google very, very heavily, Google's not necessarily the big dog search engine around the world. So when businesses are getting into exporting, there's a little bit more they need to know. And I was kind of hoping Justin would share a little bit about some of the other search engines around the world that people need to be aware of.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Google and their platform is called AdWords for those people in the industry, Google AdWords. That'll actually help you reach all but about 5 countries around the world where they actually have the market share. Those 5 countries where you need to be looking at a different platform if you want to get full market reach or a larger market reach are China. There's a search engine called Baidu. In Russia, a search engine called Yandex. In Korea, a search engine called Naver. In Taiwan, they're actually using Bing Ads, now the platform serving on Yahoo. And in Japan, and that's Yahoo Search Marketing, which is a little confusing because Yahoo Japan is a separate corporate entity than the Yahoo that you know here in the United States.
I think in North Korea they call it "You're Busted." Yeah, you mentioned Korea, but there are 2. One of them I don't think they even know what the internet is. But anyway, go ahead, Jonathan.
So now that we've identified those, there's obviously different tips for advertising that a consumer or that an online retailer would have versus a B2B, like a lead generation company that needs leads. So, Justin, could you share a couple tips with us for online retailers?
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, for online retailers, they want to be looking at some other platforms where some different online marketing places. The largest online marketing marketplace in the world is a company called Alibaba, and it's actually larger than eBay and Amazon combined, to give you an idea of the reach that they have. If you're going to go into Latin America, you'd be looking at Mercado Libre that has several country-specific sites. But with the big thing with 2 of the big things with e-commerce and with online retail in particular, number one is figuring out what those shipping costs are going to be. And how can you negotiate some good rates, and even what countries you need to stay away from, because carriers like DHL and FedEx are shying away from, like a Russia or something along those lines. And then the other big thing is always, and this goes for B2B as well, but is credibility. And you have to work even harder at your credibility. Even if you're really well known in the United States, that doesn't mean that they know you halfway around the world. And they need to be confident that once they place an order, they give you the credit card, that you're going to ship their product to them.
Yeah, by the way, Alibaba is something I read 4-Hour Work Week, and he speaks very highly of this company, by the way. It's interesting. All of a sudden, it's popping up everywhere now after I've read that book.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's only going to continue to grow.
Interesting. Yeah, Jonathan?
So we talked obviously about the online retail space there. So give me the flip. Natrepid is a lead generator where we rely on B2B sales development. So give me some tips and tricks for me to take away as I'm going international for B2B sales.
And this will have to be the last question, by the way. Go right ahead.
Sure. So, again, I would pound credibility really hard. One thing you want to make sure, too, is that your advertising language and your website language for that particular page on your website match, so that you're able to reach the person, whether you want to do it in English or you want to do it in that foreign language. But you want to establish that credibility. And what makes it that they want to talk? Because a lot of countries won't even do business with you until they've met you and they really understand you and you've talked about your families and things along those lines. So it's what can you do to just get them in the door and then build up enough leads that it makes sense for you to go over and spend a trip over in one of those foreign countries. You can meet with a bunch of different people and make it a real worthwhile trip for you.
Very good, very good. By the way, our guest today, he can be found at directom.com. That's directom.com. Justin Seibert. And then, of course, Jonathan Bentz. He's often on our program. He's with Netrepid.com, Netrepid.com. Gentlemen, great segment. Very practical. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you so much.
When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, you're listening to The Price of Business. During the break, why don't you take a second and check us out at USDataReview.com, our sister news site. And while there, like it on Facebook, follow it on Twitter.